Hello, everyone. Happy New Year, January 8th, 2025. What an incredible start of the new year. A lot of things to get done, a lot of things to accomplish. And I'm sure many of you want to manifest new goals, new resolutions. So, this is why I wanted to talk about the topic of recognizing patterns in your life to manifest, recognizing patterns in your life to manifest. This is a really important topic because once you start to see certain patterns that happen over and over again in your life and you let them go, you will free yourself of that limiting belief and you will free up that energy. You will free up that energy to be able to have confidence and also to be able to be an attractor of the things that the universal forces want to match you with. It's called law of attraction. And so that's the topic for today. So welcome to this topic. And before we get started, let's clear the energy of the room. And then we'll get started on the topic of we'll get topic on the on how to recognize patterns and release them to manifest. Okay. Why does it say join the conversation to act? Okay. Open panel. Okay. I see that live chat. Okay, let's do live chat here. All right, great. So let's clear the energy of the room and then we'll get started. Dear God, angel, spirit, God, ascended masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to come together today to talk about this topic of how to recognize patterns in our life so that we can manifest the future that we desire. Thank you so much for allowing us to come into the new year with more vigor, energy, and to really reset our emotions, our mind, our thoughts, and our actions and behavior. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you so much for removing all low frequency energy and that do not belong in the space. Protect the space so that we can have a beautiful engagement among each other with these beautiful souls who are only looking to manifest their future to fulfill their highest expression of who they really are and the potential of who they really are. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing this session to go off with flow, with ease, peace, and serenity. And so it is. Namaste. Hello, hello, Regina. Hello, Najera. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. So if you have any questions about this topic as we go, please ask me the question. Hello, Z. So, for those of you who are not aware, we're building an AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system for your wellness. And we created a survey to get your input about what you would want to see in such a platform. It's important to understand what what you would want to see in such a platform to support your health and wellness. And so we created this survey, and we would love for you to please help us and complete the survey and let us know what you would want in an AI educational platform focused on traditional Chinese medicine healing system. So thank you so much. The link is 69moons.co/consumers, 69moons co/consumers. Okay, so the topic is how do you recognize your patterns in life so that you can manifest your future? And so what it is that whatever aspects of your life that it is that you want to improve, whether it's money, financial, or let's say your health issue, losing weight, whatever it is that I know that some of you and many of us may have struggled to really overcome that for years, right? So, for example, relationship. How many of you have seen people who always seem to be in the relationship that does not serve them, that does not honor them, that does not truly in a relationship that is complementary. How many times have you seen a relationship where somebody's always in a relationship where the person is wrong? the person is abusing them. The person is not honoring them, right? You see, both men and women are in those patterned relationships. Or how many times have you seen somebody who's always poor? They always don't have money. They never seem to have money, right? They're always lacking. They're always broke, right? How many years have you seen? Maybe it's 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years. How many times have you seen those patterns in other people or maybe in your own life? How many times have you seen patterns maybe in your life or in other people's lives where they're perpetually trying to lose weight? It might be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years that they've been trying to lose weight. I know people in my life that can't seem to lose the weight. And so you're seeing the pattern. Oh, or how about a career? How many times have you been in a situation or have seen other people in careers where they always end up with the same type of career, even if they change jobs, change companies, they always end up in a career that they hate, they dislike, they feel unmotivated, right? How many times have you seen those patterns in your life or other people? So the thing is this is that if there's something that you really want and you're seeing that why has it been 10 years or 15 years or 20 years that I don't have this, I don't have the financial independence I want, I don't have the weight that I want, I don't have the relationship that I want, right? And now it's been 10, 15, 20 years and I seem to be stuck in the same pattern. So that is something that you really want to pause before you really do anything in the new year, really. You want to really, really pause and look and write down all of the things that you're like, you know what? I've always wanted, I want to be financially independent for the past 10 years. But every single year comes around, I feel I'm broke. Write it down. Write that pattern down. Or if you have a relationship, I'm in a relationship that I feel like I'm stuck with. Why am I consistently in this type of relationship? Write it down because you know what has been happening in your life for the past 10. If nobody knows better than you, who knows better than you what's been happening in your life for the past 10, 15, 20 years, right? You see the patterns, you know it, and you want to be very honest about it. Like, I want a relationship that really honors me. And why do I seem to be every 3 years, I'm moving on to the same type of person with just a different face? Or losing weight. How many times have for the past 10, 20 years, I've been wanting to be this weight, lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, and I have never been able to really do it or sustain that change. And so what it is that you want to recognize those patterns. Those patterns are something that you really need to recognize and you need to write it down, write it down. And then the second thing is this is that there's a reason why those patterns keep showing up, right? There's a reason why you don't have enough money in the bank. There's a reason why you haven't lost the weight in 10 years. There's a reason why you keep going back to the same relationship over and over and over again. There's a reason. And the reason is not so much that it's external. External things, do affect to some extent, but the real reason is an internal one. Your internal world is not matching your external world. So all change is inside out. So what it is this is you're seeing this external pattern. It's because your internal world is matching that external world. The internal world is matching that external world. That's why you keep seeing this pattern over and over and over and over again. And so that's now where you have to go into the internal world. The internal world is trying to tell you something, and the universe just keeps you showing the same pattern. And the universe is really your greatest friend saying to you, look at your internal world. I'm showing you exactly where you're at. And there's a reason why you don't have money in the bank and the external world is showing you the internal world. There's a reason why you don't have money in the bank. It's because there's something in your internal world is saying that perhaps I don't deserve that money, or this is the level of money that I should have. So that's why that's the place to really start, is that internal world. You said, oh, the external world keeps showing me I'm not financially independent. What is the internal world showing me why I'm not financially independent? What is the internal world saying? What am I saying to myself? What are the beliefs that I have about myself that doesn't allow me to have that financial freedom? And start to really contemplate and reflect on why is it that what is preventing you from having that financial independence? Is it the fact that you feel like you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough, you're not smart enough, you're not resourceful enough? What are those things? Write down every single thing that you feel why you are not having that financial independence. Do you really feel that you deserve that money? Do you feel that you are worthy of that money? Do you feel that you have the talents and gifts to earn that money, right? Do you feel that? Because that's going to match it. If those things are limiting and lacking in you, then the external world will just keep showing you the same thing over and over again. There's no way that that external world is going to ever do anything other than be inclusive of where you are at. And so so you recognize a pattern. And what are all the reasons why this pattern keeps showing up? What is it? Keeps showing up over and over again. What are the reasons that you tell yourself? What stories have you been telling yourself for the past year or the past 10 years about your financial freedom? Do you keep saying that I'm broke? Do you keep saying that? Every time you see your bank account, do you keep saying that? Right? What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying? Or do you say that, you know what? Um, I'm not talented enough to make that kind of money. I don't have the gifts and talent. Do you keep saying that to yourself? That you don't have the gift and talent to be able to do something to make money? Is that what you keep saying to yourself over and over and over again? Think about that. If you keep saying that to yourself, what is the universe going to show you? The universe is only going to show you where you're at. What do you keep saying to yourself when you see when you're still in a relationship where you don't feel honored, where you don't feel like it's a complimentary relationship? What are you saying to yourself about why you keep being in this relationship? What are you saying over and over and over again about why you are in and stuck in the relationship? What do you keep saying to yourself? So that's what it is. You want to be really honest about yourself, honest about yourself, honest. Be authentic, because it's in that authenticity that you will get to the truth of what are the root causes of these patterns that are showing up in your life. And it's really an internal one. It's really an internal one. And what are you listening? What are the external factors that allow you to keep holding on to these limiting beliefs? Is it what your parents said when you were a child? Like, I remember our father used to tell us we're not good enough, right? That could be very damaging when you're telling a child who's a sponge that you're not good enough. Well, if you're not good enough for your father, how would you be good enough for the world? How would you be good enough to make money? How would you be good enough to have a healthy relationship? How would you be good enough for this? How would you, if this is what your father keeps telling you over and over and over again? So figure out, like, what are the things that have caused you to come to those beliefs? What are some of the events? Maybe it's your childhood, maybe it's what your father said, maybe it's what your grandmother said, maybe it's what your friends are saying, what the white noise of society is saying. Figure out, why did I come to this belief that I'm not talented or I'm not gifted? I don't have the smarts. I don't have the know-how. I don't have, you know, the brains to do this. Where did I get that information from? Who gave me that information? Who put it in my head? It could be social media. It could be anything. It could be something from your childhood. It could be something from school. It could be something from your community. Where am I getting this information from that I don't have the talent. I don't have the smarts. I don't have the gifts. I don't, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not, and you might say, Moon, I'm getting that information because my reality is, is, um, is solidifying that information. The reality that I have, that I don't have, I don't have money. I don't have the relationship. That is evidence showing me. Well, that evidence is the universal way of showing you what your internal world is aligning with. The universe and your internal world are coming together. That's what it's really showing you. It's not really telling you it's not saying that you are not good enough. What it's saying is where you are at mentally and emotionally. That where's your beliefs? It's really telling you more about your belief system than really about who you really are. And I think what it is that you identify your belief system with your true identity, with who you really are. You've got to stop identifying the belief systems that you have, those limiting belief systems, with who you really are. And I think people make it as if it's one and the same. And I get why, because it's a feeling, right? When you feel you're not, when you feel a certain way, that is who you are at the moment, right? But it's just a feeling. Feelings come and go. It's like the leaf on the river. The leaf will pass, right? But it's not the essence of you. The essence of you is an eternal being of eternal expansion with unlimited potential. There's a huge amount of potential there. That's the essence. But when we feel that we are lacking money or we feel we're not good enough, we believe that is who we are. And so when we confuse these belief systems with our real identity, like we're saying that this is who we are, that's when we trip up, right? Then everything that we do, everything that we signal to the universe is going to be, that is who I am. And therefore, the universe is going to show you that the same thing. We're confusing our limiting belief systems with our true identity. And we say, that is my truth because I feel that way. I feel that way, right? You feel that way because you're seeing evidence of your life that, yes, I don't have money in the bank. I don't have that relationship. I'm not losing weight, right? And so every time you see that, what you call quote unquote evidence, it reinforces your feeling, right? And you're saying, Moon, I feel it. So this must be who I am because I'm feeling it. So it must be who I am because I'm feeling it. And that's where we make a mistake. We make a mistake that our limiting beliefs that we have repeated over and over now becomes a feeling. And now that feeling is who we are. But feelings come and go, they can pass. They can pass like the leaf on the river. It's not truly who you are. You are an eternal being of eternal expansion with gifts, unique gifts and talents that have been bestowed upon you to be able to apply those for the highest expression of who you are. That's really, that's really because nobody is better than anybody, right? When this source energy has created everybody, the wisdom of God has created the source energy of God didn't say, oh, I'm going to make this person better. I'm going to make this. It's just oranges and apples. Everybody is oranges and apples. Orange, apple, grapes, strawberry. It's just different. And what it is this with each one of us, it's just different. And so when you bring in a belief that doesn't truly honor your infinite potential, and then you keep repeating that belief over and over again, it becomes a feeling. And that feeling feels like an identity. That's who I am. And when you think that that is who you are and that is your identity, everything, first of all, you're signaling that, you're broadcasting that signal to the universe, and the universe is going to match it. And every behavior, action, decision that you make will be in alignment without those feelings, which is really not who you are. Because your highest expression is who you are, of whatever your unique talents and gifts that you have been bestowed upon. And expressing that is really who you are and how you should manifest your life in the highest expression of yourself, not the limiting expression of yourself, in the unique way that only you're going to do it. Nobody's going to be able to express that the same way as anybody else, because the way Najira is going to do it versus Regina versus Z versus Christy versus Miracles 888, you're all going to express it in different ways, right? Nobody's going to express it in the same way. And when you express yourself in the way that is unique to you, there's going to be people that will resonate with it, that will resonate with that expression, that authenticity. They will resonate with that. So that's what it is that we have taken our belief systems that turn into feelings, and then we say that is our identity. That is who we are. And then when you believe that that is who you are, then that is what you're manifesting constantly, over and over and over and over and over again. And it becomes like this. That's when you see the pattern. The pattern. The pattern shows up every year. Every year. That's how the pattern starts to show up. And then 10 years later or 20 years later, you're sitting there like, I am so frustrated. I am so frustrated that this thing keeps coming. I remember many years ago, I went to see a hypnotherapist, an NLP hypnotherapist. And I sat there literally the first 10 minutes of meeting him. He's actually a pretty good hypnotherapist. I was sobbing. This was many years ago. I was just sobbing. And you know why I was sobbing? Because I was sobbing over the patterns in my life that I had seen for so many years. There were certain patterns that kept showing up over and over and over and over again. And I knew it. I had an awareness of it. This is why I sought out a hypnotherapist. I knew it. And so this is why I literally was sobbing, 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 sobbing. I was like, eh. It was terrible. I was literally sobbing. I was like, eh. And because I was so frustrated with myself. I was so frustrated with myself. And so I asked the hypnotherapist to help me because I knew it was in a deep subconscious level, that not my subconscious mind and the cells in my body were holding on to this. Okay, so that's step one, recognizing the patterns. Now, does anybody have any questions about this so far? Hi, Z. Hi, Regina. Hi, Esther. Hi, Miracles 888. Hi, Christy. So if you have any questions so far, let me know before I move on to the next phase of this discussion. So let me know if you have any questions. Okay. So now that you've recognized these patterns, write it all down. Step one, recognizing what are the patterns in your life that no longer serve you, that you've been seeing for the past 10 years, even past 5 years, past 15, 20 years. Write down all those patterns. Step two is what is within me internally that keeps aligning with this pattern? What is the reason why this pattern keeps showing up in my life? So if it's finance, why do I not have money in my bank account? Why is that pattern showing up? What am I feeling? Do I feel good enough? Do I feel worthy? Do I feel smart that I can make money? What are some of the things what are the limiting beliefs that you have said to yourself that is allowing these patterns to show up in your life? What are the things that you could write down? Write it all down. It's really important to write it down, because when you write it down, I say write down everything. I write down everything because then you can crystal clear later see, I get it. And it's also to help you organize your thoughts. Organize your thoughts. That's what you want to do, is make sure you're organizing your thoughts and you're seeing these are some of the root causes, and other things might come up later. Maybe 3 months from now, something else will, you'll have another epiphany. Oh my God, I didn't realize at the time that I was writing down the reasons for these patterns. All of a sudden, it comes later. Maybe sometimes it doesn't come, it's not so obvious right away, or there might be some other things that will come in later. So always be open for those epiphanies, those aha moments. Always be open for that. Okay? Open for those patterns to come in. I mean, meaning the reasons for those patterns to come in. That's really important. So that's step number 2. So now step number 3, now that you've recognized the patterns, you see the reasons why, how can I free myself up from these limiting beliefs? What can I do to free myself? Because that's what you want to do. You want to free yourself from those limiting beliefs that are creating the patterns. Free myself from those limiting beliefs. And this is where you have to get really, really committed. Like you have to really want this. Because if you don't really want it, it's going to be hard to release. You're going to fall back to your old ways. It's either you have to make a decision, do I really want this? Or do I want to chug along the way I've been chugging along? That's something that you really have to answer for yourself. Do I really want to make a change? Or do I feel more comfortable chugging along? Because change is hard, right? Change feels really uncomfortable for many of us. So do I really want to make this change? That's something that you really have to answer for yourself. Do I want it bad enough? Am I suffering enough to want this change? That's what it is. Am I suffering enough to want this change? Am I suffering enough to want this change? That's the question that you have to answer. Because sometimes with human nature, we have to get to the rock bottom for us to want to change. Sometimes it's not enough to feel just uncomfortable and feel unhappy. Sometimes it takes a very rock bottom situation to say, no, now I need to change. I have to change. And I'm so committed to changing. And that's something that only you can answer for yourself because nobody's in your soul's journey. None of us, right? So that's something that you really have to be truthful. Are you really committed to making the change? Or is it going to be superficial and you're going to return to your old ways? Because the old ways are habits. They're habits that you formed in your mind. They're habits you formed in your body. They're habits you formed in the subconscious mind. They're habits you formed in the conscious mind, and then in all the cells in the body. These are habits. And it's easy to go back to habits, right? Because habits are default. Habits are like automation. And so what you will have to do is in order to release this, we have to release it. That means we have to change all of our habits. That means we have to change the habits that no longer serve us. That's a really hard thing to do. If we've been practicing that habit for 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, right? We've been practicing the same habit. Think about trying to let go of that. It's almost like letting go of your security blanket, right? It's like it's the security blanket that's not really good for you, but you don't want to let it go because it's such a habit that you've had. And so it's kind of like, oh, it's not the perfect security blanket, but I'd rather hold on to it because it's so uncomfortable to do the otherwise. Letting this go makes me feel 1,000 times more uncomfortable then maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, if I hold on to this blanket that doesn't really serve me, it makes me uncomfortable level 6. But if I let go of it, I might feel uncomfortable level 10, right? And that's why you might keep the blanket that no longer serves you because you'd rather feel level 6 pain than level 10 pain. And so this is where you really have to think, can I take the level 10 pain? Am I willing to go through the level 10 pain? Because the more you can break through, the more you can really break through, the bigger the change will be. And change is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. extremely uncomfortable. And I understand that. Trust me. And there's a fear to that change. People have just, we have like this fear, like abject fear almost of this change of, because when you're feeling uncomfortable at level 10, there's a fear that comes with that, right? Fear of whatever, it won't work out, fear that I'm being judged, fear of this, fear of that, right? Again, things that we're creating in our minds that we don't need to create. We're just creating stories that we don't need to be creating. And so the fear comes with that. And so that's something that you want to really answer for yourself. Am I committed to this change or not? Hi, Aishwara, Aish, Aishwara. What a beautiful name, Aishwara. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize deeply if I'm saying it wrong, but very beautiful name. Okay, so that's step really three. Am I committed to releasing these beliefs that no longer serve me? Because I really am, I feel too much pain and I'm willing to go through more. I'm willing to go through that really uncomfortable feeling, that uncomfortable place. So you want to answer that question for yourself. Are you willing to go to that uncomfortable place or not? Because it's going to take more uncomfortable feelings to break through and release those beliefs that you've been holding on to, like a blanket that no longer serves you. Okay, Najira. Najira asks, how to stay motivated in taking change and maintaining it in the long term? That's a great question. That's why I'm okay. So I answered part of it, Najira. It's a very good question. So thank you so much. I already answered part of it. How much, how much, where are you at in the scale of 1 to 10? Are you at 10 where you are so fed up with your life that it doesn't matter? That you're like, I'm just so fed up. I'm so fed up with my life that I am willing to do this and I am willing to go through the fire to do this. What is that level of pain that you're going through? How much change do you want? Because if it's level 3, 4, 5, then it's going to be harder to sustain the change. But if it's level 10 and you're really committed, then you're going to break through. And so that's something that you have to answer for yourself. How bad is it for me? How unhappy am I in my life? Am I unhappy level 5? Am I unhappy level 10? You know, can it get any worse for me? Because sometimes think about it. If you see people, the people that break through oftentimes, they're at their rock bottom and they can't go more bottom than that. And so they have no choice. They felt that they have no choice. So for example, if you're a father or a mother and you have 3 children that you've got to feed, right? And you want to make sure that they're fed. You want to make sure that they're taken care of. And let's say, every job that you have, you've been fired, you've been let go, right? And you're so sick of that. And you're so sick of being let go of so many jobs. And you're saying, you know what? I have a family to feed. I've got 3 kids that totally rely on me. I cannot be in this career anymore. I have to make a change. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I'm going to do something where I'm going to bring in stability financially for my family because I've got 3 kids that I have to feed and I cannot fail like that. It's like, are you at that point where it's like, because if you're at that point where you have no choice because you have to be financially free for your children. Are you at that place where you're like, I have no choice? I am at the rock bottom and now I have no choice. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that my kids have food on my kids are taken care of, that we never have to worry about the money. We never have to worry about this. My kids don't deserve this. I want to make sure that they're taken care of. And they're relying on me because my kids are 2, 3, 4, and 5 years old. They're they're not old enough to be able to go out and make money and take care of themselves, right? So are you at that level where there is nothing more rock bottom than where you are at? So that's how you kind of, that's when people really step up. That's human nature, that they step up when they're so rock bottom and they don't want to be at that rock bottom anymore. Are you at that rock bottom? Are you there? Because if you're not there, then it's going to be harder. But if you're there, you're like, I have to do something and I am not going to give up. I am not going to give up because the universal forces are going to support me. They're going to be behind me. They're going to be behind me. And I'm not going to give up on this. So that's where you have to find that scale. Where are you on that scale? Are you 1 or 10 in the rock bottom? Because the more you're at the rock bottom, the more you might want to change. Now, there's some people who are so at the rock bottom, they just give up. They just completely give up, right? So it's either, so that's a choice that you make. Are you going to give up or not give up on yourself? But there are people who are at the rock bottom that will give up. They might be homeless, right? They might get into drugs and alcohol, right? Because they can't handle it. So that's you really want to think about that consciously. Are you prepared to be resilient, not give up on yourself ever, or your family ever? Are you prepared to never give up on yourself? Because the universal forces in its divine time will support you in ways that you can't even imagine. But you have to first be committed to yourself for the universe to be committed to you. Let me repeat that. You want to first be committed to yourself for the universe to be committed to you. The universe will always meet you where you're at. So you have to be committed to yourself before the universe commits to you. So that's a question that I think you want to really answer, Najira, because the more you'll sustain it. Because the sustaining it's an internal thing, right? It's whether you're going to give up or not give up. Sustainability is whether you're going to give up or not give up. And so you want to answer that question for yourself. Am I willing to never give up on myself? Okay. So that's a question that I would answer number one. Because if you're not willing to give up, you will do the work. You will always do the work to improve yourself, to improve your thinking, to improve your belief systems, to say, you know what? No, this does not serve. What I just heard does not honor me. That belief does not honor me, my potential. I'm going to throw it out the window. That's what you want to say. It doesn't honor me. Throw it out the window. Throw it out the window. Or having awareness of it. Oh, I just said something to myself. No, 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 no. Stop. Stop. Pause. That's wrong. That's not me. That's not me. My feelings about myself right now is not who I am. My feelings about myself right now is not who I am. The feeling that I have that I am poor is not really me. You want to stop it. You want to say, that is not me. That is not me. That is not me. Okay. So that's a really good question. So thank you so much. You have to be committed to doing the work on yourself and never giving up on yourself. That's the question to ask, because if that is the case, then you will make the change and the change will be sustainable for the long term. You will make the change and then it'll be sustainable for the long term. Okay. So make sure you're answering that for yourself. Okay. So now let's say you are committed to making that change, right? This is really the last step. You're committed to making that change and you're committed to never giving up on yourself. You're saying, I'm never giving up on myself. I am so committed to making this change. The universe is going to start showing you, bringing you, aligning yourself with the more abundance of the cooperative components. You're going to start to see bit by bit, bit by bit. And what's going to happen is now you're going to be at the phase where you're going to start to create new patterns. That's what you want to get to. You're going to start to create new patterns. And when you start to create new patterns, that means you're going to start to transcend the old patterns and create new patterns, patterns that are going to level you up, new patterns. So let's say, for example, uh, you want to have more financial independence, right? And you are so committed to figuring out a way that your finances will always be steady and will always be secure for you, right? You're like, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be a job that I'm so good at that I will always have clients or I will always have employers, or maybe it's a business that I'm going to create that I'm always going to have security in my bank account, right? And so you are so determined to figure out what it is that's going to make you secure financially. And once you figure that part out, once you figure that part out, you are golden because now you're creating new patterns. You're creating new patterns and you're letting go of the old limiting beliefs. You're creating new patterns to say, I'm abundant, I'm prosperous, I'm worthy, I'm good enough. These are the types of patterns that will drive momentum, start to drive momentum, and it will start to drive a much quicker faster momentum where you would be scaling faster. At first, it's hard. At first, it's kind of tiny steps, right? Because you're trying to get rid of old patterns, which is hard and uncomfortable. You're trying to just let them go. And that feels uncomfortable and slow because it might feel a little clunky, right? Because it takes time to do that. It might take a little bit more time to do that. And then, but once you release those and release it more and more, you're going to start building new patterns. And when you start building the new patterns, the universe will start to align with you more and more, right? The universe keeps aligning with you, right? So think about if you're here and you're like and you want to be here and you're doing this, the universe will keep matching you here, matching you here, matching you here, matching you here, matching you. So you see how by the laws of attraction that you're creating healthier patterns for yourself and creating that abundance and prosperity in every aspect of your life. So this is what you want to be doing. You want to keep, and the universe keeps matching you where you're at, matching you where you're at, matching you where you're at. And so then you're creating, as you're raising your frequency, you're creating new patterns. You're creating new patterns. You're creating new patterns. You're creating new patterns. And that momentum goes, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so that is really the final step is to create new patterns for yourself to really sustain that change. And when you create that new pattern, that's when you really sustain change because you're no longer have the old pattern habit, right? You have new habits. And these new habits make you abundant in money, relationship, career, weight, health. The new patterns make you abundant. That's what it is. It's the new patterns, and that new patterns will be sustainable. Okay, so does anybody else have any other question about this subject matter of recognizing patterns, creating new patterns, and so on and so forth? If you don't have any more questions, we can close out the room. So let me just review what I said. The first thing is to recognize the patterns that you just do not desire in your life, that you've been holding on to for 10, 15, 20 years, that you've seen in your life, whether it's bad relationships, whether it's lack of money, whether it's not being able to lose weight for 10, 15, 20 years that you've been wanting being in the same relationship that does not serve you, right? Recognizing those patterns, write it all down. Step two is figure out what are the reasons why internally that I have the thoughts, the feelings, and the thoughts that I place that support these patterns. What are the reasons? What are the thoughts I have? What are the belief systems I have that support these patterns that keep showing up in my life? What are they? Right? What are those things? Step three is, am I committed? How big is my pain that I'm committed to letting go of these beliefs, no matter how comfortable it is? Am I really committed to myself or not? Where am I at the scale of 1 to 10? How painful is this that I want to make the change? How committed am I? Am I committed at level 5 or am I committed at level 10? You want to answer that. So that's step there. And the step 4 is to create new patterns in your life. Because as you start to make that commitment to yourself and you stop that talk, you let go of those limiting beliefs, you let it go. As you start freeing yourself of those limiting beliefs, you're going to start creating new patterns in your life. And when you create new patterns, you're going to create new habits. You're going to create new habits. and new habits of the way you think, new habits of the way you feel, and new habits of what actions you take. And those new habits will then create new patterns in your life. So you'll see more abundance in money, more abundance in health, more abundance in relationships, more abundance in career, right? So those new habits are going to create new patterns in your life. And when you create new patterns, that's when it becomes sustainable. Okay. Hi, Christy. Okay, Christy has a question. What if you're trying to speak what you need, but your mind keeps going back to the negative? I don't want to keep on doing the positive with the negative, but it's just fear, and I understand that. Yeah, I get it. It's a habit. It's a habit of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is so used to you thinking a certain way, that information is so embedded that it wants to keep reverting. So you say that's okay. I get subconscious because your subconscious mind wants to just try to protect you, wants to feel safe, right? So all of a sudden your subconscious mind feels uncomfortable. Oh my God, I have to again. Remember I said that change is uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable. So when you have a habit and you're changing that habit, it feels uncomfortable initially, like that, right? And that's what you're going. You're going through like a withdrawal. You're going through a withdrawal process. And so what you want to do is you want to keep at it over and over and over and over again. And don't beat yourself up just because you said something negative. Don't be like, oh God, Christy, you said something negative. You're so bad. Don't do that. Say, okay, that's fine. I recognize it. And the fact that I recognize it, I'm already 50% there. The fact that you recognize that what you said to yourself is a belief that does not honor you, you're 50% there. And you say, okay, that's okay. What can I say now? Pause. What can I say now that honors me? Right? And you just do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Never give up. That's the part that I'm talking about. Never give up. It's okay that you might revert, but it's okay. You're going to go get back on the horse. It's a withdrawal process because your every cell in your body has that habit, right? It has that belief system habit. Your subconscious mind has that. So it's resisting, right? It's resisting. You want to make this change, but there's a resistance. And so you just stay committed. Just stay committed. Stay committed. Just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. And you will start to see bit by bit, it'll start to change little by little, little by little, little by little. And then you're good, and that small changes are going to become an accumulation of bigger change, bigger, bigger. So what I'm saying is don't give up. Keep at it. 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 Sounds redundant, but it's practice. It's reprogramming. Okay. Okay. But it's a great question. Thank you so much, Christy. How to deal with toxic people in your life that trigger you and cause negative emotions and may cause you to learn old patterns, e.g., condescending parents. Uh, okay. Ella Watson says, okay, this is a good, this is a good. Okay, so when you have people in your life, like your parents or your family member, it's going to be harder to get rid of them, right? Because they're family, right? And you want them in your life in some ways, right? So I understand that it's much harder when you have close people in your life that you feel is negative or toxic. And this is where you have to train yourself because this is where you have to be committed. Am I going to? So there's a beautiful quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. He always says, "You can only be bothered by what you allow other people, uh, what you allow to be bothered by. You can only be bothered by what you allow to be bothered by." So if there's, first of all, I don't know if you're living with your parents or not, but if you're not living with your parents, then you just, whatever it is that they say, you keep it, first of all, you set healthy boundaries so that you minimize that low frequency energy coming to you. So you set healthy boundaries. Maybe you don't talk to them every day. Maybe you talk to them once a month and you keep the conversation, short, 10, 15 minutes, or you talk to them once a week, whatever it is, set those healthy boundaries. And whatever it is that they say that feels toxic, you have to say, okay, that's not me. It doesn't affect me. It's their thing. You have to see yourself as wave energy where it's all passing through you. What they're It's passing through you, passing through you. Again, this is training. Everything is training. It's passing through you. It doesn't bother you. You're like, eh. You get to a point where it doesn't really bother you because you know that they're on their soul's journey dealing with their own shadows, right? They're all dealing with their own shadows. And that they have to release that shadow onto the world, right? It's got to be released. Energy always has to be released. So even low frequency energies got to get released. So they're releasing on everybody around them, especially to their family members, right? So you have to see yourself as like this transparent. And I have a meditation where you're just like this transparent wave energy, and you have to see that whatever is being thrown at you, projected to you, is moving past you, moving through you, passing you, passing you. Don't hold on to it, and remind yourself that you can only be bothered by what you allow to be bothered. So see them as their own soul's journey, that they're going through their own soul's journey, their own shadows, their own darkness. They're going through all of that. And that's being projected. And the more you can see that and not take it so personal, and if and just keep a healthy boundary with them, meaning like, you don't have to talk to them every day or see them every day. Keep those healthy boundaries. Maybe when you see them or talk to them, you keep it cordial. You keep it limited and cordial. Maybe you speak to them on the phone for 10 minutes, not 30 minutes, right? So that this way, those healthy boundaries are set, and you set those boundaries for yourself. What is acceptable for me in this relationship and what is not? Once you set those boundaries and they cross the boundary, that is when you have the right to say, okay, I'm going to put more boundaries around me, right? It once they set a boundary of what is accessible to you, and then if they cross the boundaries, then you set higher boundaries. So you are in control over your life. You are in control over yourself, okay? So as Thich Nhat Hanh says, you can only be bothered by what you allow to be bothered by, okay? Okay. Okay, Aishwara Peji, getting again and again in the same pattern has made me feel I'm not good enough to get what I want, and therefore I lose my consistent breaking the old patterns. That's right. That's absolutely right. That's exactly what happens. Because so that's why I had that step 3 of asking yourself the question, where am I in my pain? In the scale of 1 to 10, am I in pain 5, 6, or am I in pain 10? Am I the woman or the or the father that has 3 kids to feed, and I have no job, and I don't know how I'm going to feed that, and I'm going to do anything in my power to make sure that I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to work, there's a father trying to feed 3 kids. I said, I'm going to take 2 jobs, 3 jobs. And while I do that, I'm going to figure out how to start my own business. You see what I'm saying? That is not giving up on yourself. You're going to say, you know what? I'm going to take 2, 3 jobs on the side. I'm going to take 2 jobs on the side to feed my family. And then I'm going to figure out, how do I make money? I'm going to take online courses. What am I going to do? What business am I going to start so that I could, you see, that's level pain 10. So you have to understand where you are in that spectrum of pain. Because if you're in a place of so much pain that you can't go any more rock bottom, then you're going to figure out, you're going to say, no, I'm committed to myself. I'm never going to give up. The pain has to be so great that you're not going to give up on yourself. That you're so like, it's like that point where, I was in the hypnotherapist's office and I was sobbing. Like that was almost like pain 10. Like that was like pain 10 for me. It was almost like pain 10. It was so bad. I literally 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes, I was sobbing non-stop. So that was like pain 9, 10, I would say. And once you taste it, says, "Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is." You keep reverting back to old patterns because your subconscious mind, your body saying it's pulling you in, right? That's a withdrawal symptom. It's pulling you back, and you're like, and so it's like you have to say no, 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 no. I'm never going to give up. I'm not going back. I'm not giving up on myself. I'm not giving up on myself. So where's the pain? Is it at level 1 to 10? Where is it that you're not going to give up on yourself? So that's something that you really want to get honest with about yourself. How bad is the pain? Okay. But I totally understand what you're going through is very common, very common. And we've all gone, trust me, I've done it myself. I am no different from all of you. The only thing is I have an awareness of these things, but trust me, everything that you guys are going through, I'm going through the same thing. I've done, or I've gone through it, or I'm still working on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm all those things I talk about, it's because I work on it. and I've gone through it. It's just I have like an awareness of what's going on. Okay. Attach the link to the meditation, Ella Watson. Okay. Let me find the link to that meditation where you're basically seeing yourself as like this kind of like this wave energy and the wave energy, and let me see if I can find it because I did this meditation a long time ago, and is this energy, is this the oh God, I'm trying to think it could be energy protection meditation. Well, here's the energy protection meditation, but yeah, okay, this is the one. Here, let me put this link for you. Wave energy meditation. Okay, here it is. This is where you see yourself as wave energy. Okay. Do I ever do one-on-one sessions? No, I don't. If I do one-on-one sessions, so many people have asked me. It's just I don't have enough time and energy, especially building this AI educational platform. I might in the future, and if I do, I'll probably do it in another platform like Intro or something, on another platform. But right now, I'm not entertaining it because so many people have asked me, and it's just more of a time energy thing. And because when I show up, I want to show up at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I'm building this AI educational platform for the traditional Chinese medicine, it's taking so much time and energy. And it's something that I really need to focus on this year. We want to really launch it by end of this year next, because it's going to take some real development to happen. And we have a genius team around us. So we're so blessed because we have a great team, incredible team. So, but a lot of things need to happen. So if I ever do, I'll announce and let you know. Okay, so that's it. So I gotta run now. I have a call at 9 a.m. So let's do a closing prayer. Dear God, angel, spirit guide, send a message, divine creator. Thank you so much for allowing us to uh, discuss and engage with this topic of recognizing patterns in your life to manifest. Please, I ask you to guide these beautiful souls to their own highest potential and to be able to guide them to let go of limiting beliefs that are holding them on to patterns that they do not desire. So thank you so much for your continued support, your continued guidance, your continued wisdoms, your continued protection, most importantly, your unconditional love. And so it is. Namaste. Okay.